In our fast-changing and competitive world, there is one constant: your personal brand. What are your unique skills and talents that help set you apart? How will you tell that story? In this podcast, we will talk to some of the leading experts on personal branding to help you become your most iconic you. Today, I'm excited to talk with Jeannie Stith, who is the founder and CEO of Color Guru, which is a cool service that I discovered actually on Instagram. And we're going to talk all about what you do, but I'm so excited to welcome you on the podcast today, Jeannie.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, James.
I actually found you guys through Instagram, but it was one of those things where it was the right thing at the right time. Because at that time, I was working on my own personal branding, which of course is the topic of my podcast. But it's something that I've been interested in for a long time. And I was at a point where I knew I needed to help myself with a signature look and signature colors. But that meant going out and investing in a new wardrobe. And before you do that, you want to make sure that you're going to be investing in the right kind of clothes. So it was exactly around that time when somehow the Instagram algorithm must have known where I was at in this journey, and I got one of your things in my feed, and that's how I found out about you guys. And when I saw it, I thought, this is so cool. What a cool idea for a business. So that's kind of how I found you guys. How did you ended up founding Color Guru?
Well, it all started about 16 years ago when my aunt told me that I looked bad in my clothes. Basically, she wasn't that mean about it, but we were shopping together and she was like, I don't think you're picking the right colors for your skin tone. And I was like, I've never even heard of this concept. I'm just, kind of picking colors I think look nice,
Yeah.
And so she said, oh, you have to get your colors done. You've got to try this. And so I was living in Philadelphia at the time, and we tried to find somebody, the service, which used to be very popular in the 80s and early 90s, but it had kind of fallen out of trend. I don't know why. It's making a huge comeback right now. But anyway, we tried to find someone offering the service. We couldn't find anybody. And then it was like a year later, I happened upon someone who was doing color analysis out of her house. She was a retired image consultant. And I went in and got my colors done for the first time. And like my aunt told me, it was a total game changer in terms of how I looked in my clothes. I just started to look way better. Shopping became really easy because I would walk into a store and I'd be like, that's my color, and just buy it. That's one of my best colors. And then the other thing I noticed after working with my colors for, a couple months was all my clothes in my closet started to coordinate way more easily together.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have sort of a smattering of all these different colors. I was really focused on working with a color palette that looked best on me. And I just remember thinking, this is amazing. And then over the next couple of months, I ended up taking like 7 or 8 friends to her because they all wanted their colors. And I remember thinking, like, how in the world do me and 7 or 8 of my friends want this service and nobody's offering it except for this retired woman doing it out of her house?
Yeah.
So it kind of always stuck with me. And I also noticed that the color palette she gave me, while it really was transformative, it was like a bit dated. Like some of the colors I couldn't really find in stores anymore. It was sort of a service left over from the 80s, the one that she was performing. And I just remember thinking, I thought about it for years before I really took action because I was having kids and like doing other things in my life. But I thought, man, if I ever start a business, I would sort of recreate this in like a fresh, modern way, find a way to offer it as a virtual service. And so that's what I did about years ago.
Yeah, and it really is a cool business. Like I really enjoyed the whole process of, submitting photos, and then I got this card. So the whole experience was really exciting. And, when you actually get your colors, it's a little bit of a moment of suspense, like the big reveal, like, what am I?
Yes.
So it's a really great product and service. And it's a really cool story that it's something that you genuinely wanted and needed, something that changed your experience. And it sounds like it was very natural and organic, plus the fact that you also had a bit of a creative background. So you're someone who knew about color and the visual world to begin with.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, my background is in the arts. So I've always dabbled in painting, mosaics, photography. I studied theater. So I was just in all sorts of art related things. So I was always very interested in color and had some background in color theory, which of course helped. But once I started Color Guru, I really wanted to become an expert in things like, makeup and hair color and clothing, obviously, which is kind of our main focus. But I was amazed once I started looking at the difference a color can make on somebody, because these colors we wear, they reflect up onto our face. And
Mhm.
not all colors look good on all people. And so we can really highlight our natural beauty, our best sort of characteristics by just wearing the right colors and not changing anything else about us. And to me, this was such an easy, quick fix. And it also solved so many problems in terms of shopping. Like just the amount of clutter that I had in my closet, like kind of disappeared overnight when I started shopping in my colors, because I now had a strategy for what I was bringing into my wardrobe, which is super important when, as Americans, especially, our clothing is so cheap. It's so easy to like go buy like a $20 top and it's not really right for us,
Mhm.
but we end up with these cluttered closets. And it just helped me streamline my clothes while still looking better. So for me, it was just
Mhm.
like a win all around.
Yeah, so you're not just getting, your colors, you're actually getting a system and a strategy that really simplifies your life. And the benefits go beyond just looking great. It's a system for how you approach your wardrobe. And maybe you can speak to this, but I guess the idea is that when you have this card, you can then go into the store and shop quickly and easily just by scanning for colors. So it's a whole revolutionary way, a new way of shopping and approaching your wardrobe. Can you speak to how the card is used?
Yeah, definitely. So the color card, everybody gets a digital copy of for their phone and a laminated copy in the mail that we actually send to you. It basically just has your 35 best shades. And so there are neutrals on there, fun colors to play around with, but basically they're the 35 best shades that are going to look best on you. And beyond that, exactly like you said, it's not just the colors that look best for you. It is a plan for your wardrobe. So it is a family of colors that are designed to work with each other. So for example, in my closet, before I started using a color palette, I used to have just like every color of shoe under the sun. Like I would have brown shoes and black shoes and gold shoes and silver shoes and like all sorts of things. And then like it felt very confusing when I was trying to put outfits together, because I just had too many options, to be honest. And a lot of them didn't really go together. So now it's just so easy because like I'll pull out, pants, and I have like almost every top in my wardrobe goes with those pants. All my shoes go with those pants. All my jewelry goes with the pants on the top that I've picked, all my coats, all my bags, like,
Yeah.
it really gets spread out into, accessories and outerwear and everything. And it just makes putting outfits together super easy. And then also, as you said, when you go to the store, it cuts your shopping time, I say, in half, because you walk into a store and you can scan the store for your colors.
Hmm.
So I talk about this. It's the idea of shopping color first, because it's the most efficient way to shop. There are also other things that obviously we take into consideration when we're buying clothing. Like we take into consideration the fit, or like, does this feel like my style? But the thing is, you can't scan for those things quickly. You would have to like lift up every garment,
Right.
color, you can just glance and ignore all the colors that are not on your color card. And then when you take things into the dressing room, everything you're taking in, the color is great. So you don't have to worry about that. And then you can just focus on, do I like the way this fits my body? Is this my style?
Yeah. So it's funny, like you think this would be a discussion about looking great, but it's really a discussion about saving time and being more efficient and probably saving money too.
Absolutely. Like I am huge into streamlining and making efficient the things in my life that are not the most important things. And I mean, I know
Hmm.
that's weird to say because I own this business and like probably people think like, oh, this is like the most important thing to her, but it's not. Like I
Yeah.
have two kids, you know, I need to spend time actually running my business, not spend a lot of time like trying to be fashionable, looking at fashion magazines, trying to figure out what to buy. Like I just now I know what looks good on me and I buy
Hmm.
it and it's done. And so like I like having things in my life that are just like it's a no-brainer. I go into my closet, I like what I have in there, it looks good on me, done. And like I can work on other parts of my life. And that's what I love, like the efficiency of it so much.
Exactly. It's a great life hack.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So taking things back to personal branding, one thing that I learned from doing this is that I was definitely playing it safe. I was wearing a lot of black, a lot of white, navy, gray. You probably hear that a lot from people.
So much, so much.
And then this process kind of gives you permission to think about colors because you have confidence then. You know that, I mean, I was shocked to see that I could do reds, right? So you're given permission, you're given confidence to go look at colors you would have never thought about for yourself because you thought, that's not for me. The one I was most shocked about was kind of this like citrus lemony yellow.
Yes. Yes.
So it's really cool to see the range of possibilities. And thinking about personal branding, we talk about having a signature look, signature color, something consistent that you're known for. If you think of certain celebrities or politicians, they're kind of known for certain colors. And especially when you're on camera, if you're doing Instagram or Reels or podcasts, I look back at my feed, there is a lot of black, which doesn't really pop as you're competing and you're up against all those other things coming through your feed. A beautiful color like the color you're wearing today would really pop in the feed. So it is something to think about. So, do you have thoughts about kind of selecting a signature color or how you can use all these different colors and kind of hone in on certain ones for your branding?
Yeah, it's such a great thing for branding because in personal branding, whether it's on social media or on your website or a YouTube video or anything you're doing, you're putting colors around you. So why wouldn't you put colors around you that really make you look your best, And this is a quick and easy way to find out what those colors are. I completely agree. There are certain colors that just work better or like evoke a certain response. Like black, while it can look dramatic and it can look great, it can look elegant, it can look lots of things. Is it eye grabbing on camera? Absolutely not. It's like
Right.
looking into a black hole, it's just kind of like weird and blocky and like doesn't generally look great on camera.
Yeah, it probably looks good in person. It can be slimming, it can be flattering. Yeah.
Yes, there are lots of great things about black on the people it looks good on. Side note though, black has been sold to us as a universal color. For a lot of people, it's actually quite a hard color to wear. Now for you, it's great. You're a winter type, you're a moonlit winter, and black is great for you. Again, though, as you have sort of discovered, maybe not the best thing on social media or something like that. However, like in your real life, it should absolutely be one of your staple neutrals,
Right.
because it's really good for you. But yeah, going back to kind of those brand colors, I think it can be really memorable if you pick sort of a signature color and consistently work with it. So maybe not every time, but if
Yeah.
you come back to it and people do find that memorable. In fact, there's this one woman I follow. She's like a big CEO. I saw her speak at a conference and she calls herself Cindy Pink CEO. And she wears bright pink. She's a winter type, so it looks amazing on her. She wears this bright magenta pink pretty much all the time on social media. And she is so memorable. And part of it is just that color. And she calls herself Cindy Pink CEO. She's very successful and has a huge following. But part of the reason is she has created something so memorable for people.
Yeah, that's super important. And I love how she actually includes the color in her name.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
it's cool too, because I think there's that idea that like pink is like that little girl color. And here she is showing up as like a super powerful woman and just like rocking this super bright pink all the time. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It like makes you think about her again. It's very memorable.
Yeah, I mean, these are all important principles for personal branding. It's consistency, right? She's known for her color. People associate that with her. I think I heard one time that Martha Stewart deliberately dresses in colors that evoke wealth, like gold and green for money and gem tones, kind of metallic tones, actually, that you associate with luxury. And so it's that consistency, it's the associations you have, and it's also being a little bit counterintuitive. So here she's wearing, like you said, a little girl color, but it's so memorable. You want to stand out in people's minds in a world of just black, black suits. She stands out and grabs that attention, which then leads to other business opportunities.
Totally agree. And the other thing I want to comment on that I thought was so great that you brought up is like the whole, getting stuck in sort of the black, white, gray, sort of neutral rut, right? Which a lot of we get stuck in sometimes. It's just like the safe choices. But, it's so interesting when people come to our service, like one of the concerns that we hear before they have the color analysis is they're worried it's going to like limit them. They're like, oh, I feel like once I get this done, like I'm going to feel like I only can wear these colors. And then just like you said, the opposite most of the time ends up being true. They actually get this card with like 35 colors and they're like, oh my gosh, I can go try all these. Like this is a ton of colors to try. And it's so fun because then you're going into the store with much more confidence, knowing that these particular colors are going to look great on you. So it becomes like a lot of people say, like, shopping became super fun. I don't feel limited. I actually feel like broken open to like try these new colors. And it's so exciting and fun.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, yeah. To think like I can pull off a pink or like a neon lime green, that's super liberating. And like you said, confidence is the key word. Like now I know that an expert has told me that I can wear this color. I won't feel like a crazy person for putting it on.
That's right. That's right.
And then, so speaking of all these different options, it's almost like too many options. Do you have any thoughts on limiting down or kind of honing in on certain subsets of these? Like, for example, some of them are labeled like this kind of brick red is labeled as powerful, or this blue is labeled as signature. So, do you have any thoughts on how to work within your palette?
Yeah, so those denotations on your card, those are called your mood colors. And so they are just kind of giving an idea of like how your specific seasonal type tends to sort of show up in those colors. But I think the easiest thing that I personally do, and I know some of the people who have our card do, is I generally lean towards, and for a lot of people, this is natural, but I lean towards the darkest and deepest colors on my card during like the fall and winter. And then I lean towards the brightest and lightest colors on my card during the spring and summer. And that cuts my options from my card about in half, so I'm kind of wearing like the creams and the corals and the peaches and the pinks and like more in the spring and summer, and opposite, like leaning towards the darker colors in the winter. And I just started doing that very naturally, but then I got emails that other people were also doing that. And that's great, or you can wear all the colors year round. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of whatever your preference is.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So I know you also teach courses on personal style, and you touched on the three elements, which are color, which we've talked about a lot, shape, and personal style. So as people are thinking about, their personal brand, their signature look, do you have any other tips when it comes to putting that together?
Yeah, definitely. I love breaking down dressing. I love to take something that feels sort of complicated and break it down into the simplest form. And the way I see it, you can dress really well if you get a handle on these three things, which are color, shape, personal style. And like I said before, color should always come first, in my opinion. But then shape, you want to find in a couple of outfit formulas, I call it, that you really like the way you look, like that you like the way they look on your body shape. So, and then you can do those formulas over and over again, with just different fabrics and different colors. And it's so easy because once you find something that works, you stop trying all the things that don't. Like, for example, like I have a very curvy body. I have like a small waist. I've got like, bigger hips, and then kind of an hourglass figure, right? And for years, I tried on these like a shift dress, which if you don't know, a shift dress is a dress that's got like very straight up and down, like is made for women who have less curves than me. And every time I would be so disappointed. I'd be like, it's like baggy in the waist, it's tight in the hips, it's like tight in the chest. And then I would think something was wrong with my body. That was the thing. It took me 40 years to discover that nothing is wrong with my body. That is just the wrong cut for my shape, right?
Hmm.
But I look amazing in a fit and flare dress, right? Like a dress that is fitted in the waist and flares out over my hips. I can wear it every time. I can go down a size in it. Like it's amazing. So like I just have it will help you once you find those things that work on your body type. Just put a little bit of time into it, put a little bit of research into it, identify your body type, find a couple styles that look really good, try them out, and then just stop trying things that don't work. It gave me so much confidence. And I think the best thing is it made me like my body. Like,
Mm,
I really used to dislike my body because I thought there was something wrong with it because these certain things didn't work on it. And then I realized, oh, that dress is actually what's wrong for me. There is
right.
nothing wrong with my body, right? So you can gain so much confidence in that way just about your body once you really learn strategically how to dress it in a way that you like how it looks in the mirror.
Oh,
For
one comment about that. So as you were saying that, I kept thinking how in personal branding we say, don't change who you are, be more of who you are. The first step is, different is, what is the saying? Different is better than better. So, if you're trying to stand out in the world, you don't want to just blend in where, black shift dress, like you were saying. You have to start by looking at, well, how am I different? And then embracing that and then working with that. So everything you said about dressing really applies throughout all of personal branding.
Yes, I love that. I got chills up my arms when you said that, like different is better than better. And I could not agree more. And you can see the difference, those people who just embrace what they have. Like just the other day, I saw this video about this guy and he was going bald and he just like shaved his whole head. And he's like, stop it with like trying to look like you have hair when you don't. Just shave it. Just commit to being bald. And I was like, yes, like I love that. And you could tell like he felt so confident just going with it, like
Yeah.
go with it. We're all given things we can't change. Go with it, flaunt it, embrace it, right?
I think that's a quote from Tyra Banks, by the way, to give her full credit. Different is better than better.
I love that quote so much. Yeah, 100%. And then, with personal style can be really fun to sort of dive into. And the easy way that I think you can dive into it that doesn't take any money or anything is just like go on Pinterest and start pinning outfits that you love. It doesn't matter if you think they would work on you. It doesn't matter if they're not your ideal colors. Just start to pin things that you're like, ah, I love that, and then you can discover later how to sort of translate it into something that works on you, or you can choose it in a different color, a different pattern. But just start to really focus in on your aesthetic. Like, what do you like? And how do you want to show up? And it's just a fun way to get started, is just to kind of get some ideas and put a little time into like, what do I like? How do I want to show up? And then again, like once you get like a handle on those three things, you're good to go. You can start choosing clothes that work on you every time. You can start choosing clothes that you're going to love for years to come. It just totally transforms. That little bit of work up front really transforms the confusion that can come with shopping.
Yeah, and that's just a great practical tip if you're getting started with figuring out your personal style. Take screenshots of things on Instagram that speak to you, Pinterest, make a Pinterest board, just to get in touch with, okay, this is what's resonating with me, and that's the beginnings of your personal style.
Yes.
So we're coming into the end here, and I just wanted to end on kind of a fun note. Well, first of all, I didn't ask, what is your color palette?
Oh, so I'm a calm summer. I'll show you. It's quite different than yours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, and
Um,
I have mine on my phone too, and I'm always whipping it out at the store. People are probably like, what is he doing?
yeah, I wear a lot of softer colors, more like towards the pastels. This is one of my deeper colors. This is teal, but I basically like I don't look good in black. I look much better in like a charcoal gray. I look good in like a true white, but not a super bright white. I look really good in like a cranberry red rather than like a orangey red. That has a lot to do with like the undertones in my skin. Like I have very pink undertones, as you can
Yeah.
see. And so, but I look really good in softer, muted colors that are cool, whereas you look good in cool colors as well. That's one thing we have in common, but you look good in like the super saturated jewel tones, the stronger versions of the colors that I wear. So mine are like yours, but like muted out. Like if you added a
Yeah.
bunch of white to the blue that you would look ideal in, I would look good in that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting. And people have to go to your Instagram, and it's really striking how, when you dress in your colors, you just pop. It just lights up your face, whether it's you or whether one of your customers being featured on your Instagram. They're in these gorgeous colors and they just pop. So it's really something to pay attention to. And then on another fun note, who is your celebrity match?
Oh, so you know who I have very similar coloring wise, although her hair is a little lighter than mine, but my hair gets light in the summer. Amanda Seyfried. I think that's how you say her last name, right? She was like she was in Mamma Mia and
Yes. Uh-huh.
yeah, right. So she's got eyes very similar to mine, kind of like blue-gray eyes, pink undertones to her skin. Her skin is very fair and also cool undertoned hair, even though hers is a little more blonde, but mine gets a little more blonde in the summer, but she dyes hers and I don't dye mine. So like, but yeah, very close coloring match. It's really fun to do celebrity color matches for people because then you can sort of steal that celebrity's like high paid stylists, like, right? Because they pay a lot of money to get their hair and their makeup done. And you can see, like, what are they doing? Like, if they have the same coloring as you, what are they currently doing with their makeup? What are they doing with their hair,
Hmm.
color wise? What are they wearing on the red carpet? Like, what colors are they wearing sort of in their normal life? A lot of them have stylists for like their everyday life. So I think it's a way to like steal good styling tips for stuff that will really actually work for you.
Yeah, that's another good hack. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So this has been such a fun conversation. I'll kind of summarize some of the things we talked about. We talked about how with color, it's part of your personal brand because you can really let yourself stand out from the crowd by embracing some colors. And once you do your color guru match, or your test rather, you'll know exactly which colors you can pull off, colors you would never have imagined. And from here, you can kind of think about what's going to be your signature look. We talked about embracing your body type and really working with what you have rather than trying to change what you have or wishing it were different, but starting from where you are and showcasing that in the best way. Any other, kind of takeaways from today's conversation? And we have lots of great tips that people can go back and listen to. But any other thoughts, Jeannie?
Yeah, I would just say, I feel like in a world that is so focused on changing ourselves, like you said, I think it's really important to come back to things that actually highlight who you already are rather than trying to sort of change who you are. Just highlight the natural beauty that you have. And that's what I really love about the service we've created is we try to really see just that natural beauty in each person who comes through our doors. We are not an algorithm. We look at everybody. We have trained analysts who look at every photo that comes across our desk. And I love that we get to really honor people's natural beauty.
And that really is the essence of personal branding. You said it so perfectly. It's taking who you are, just kind of polishing that diamond a little bit and displaying it out in the world. So that's a
Yes.
great, great summary. Yeah. So thank you so much. And I think we do have a special code for anybody listening today, which I can post in the notes below. So that you should definitely go and check out Jeannie's service. I had a really great experience with it, so I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good step on your personal branding checklist.
Yes, the code is color me, all one word. So COLORME. And color me will give you 10% off any color analysis package at colorguru.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for offering that to everybody. And thank you so much for your time today. This has been a really great conversation, lots of takeaways. I'll include some of the tips in the notes, and I'm excited to share this with the world.
Thank you so much, James. It was so great to be here.
But thank you. Thank you. This was really fun.